that shit.
I mean, you never really know, you know, you never really know what you're gonna get when you're talking about these verses. But at some point, you have to realize, like, yo, you gotta really be ready. Like,
So
not
that's what you
everybody,
have these verses for.
not
Because
everybody can get a verses. Like,
they
just
have kind of parallel, having come out at the same time, really on the same song. They have kind of parallel catalogs. Um, I think that they reached somehow in the same genre and the same sub. Are we live yet?
oh, we live.
Oh, in the same subgenre, somehow they were able to touch some of the same demographic, but sometimes there, I think, contrast. Like I think sometimes, well, obviously, Jeezy reaching a more wide range demographic than
Listen, man,
than
it
than
comes.
Gucci.
That's that comes down to the fact that uh, Atlanta got exposed in its underground. Like the what is acceptable got exposed, man. Like it's not the thing about Atlanta is it's so far along both sides of the spectrum. All the way over here, you got the best, the dopest, the hardest working, but then what also makes it all the way over here on the other side wouldn't be acceptable when they're compared to what is good, and that got exposed. But you know what? People don't know what we're talking about yet. We live, people. This the basement
Jeezy,
debates.
Snowman.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Here we go.
Come out of the box.
Yes. Yes, people. Yes. This is the basement debates. My name is Bruce Lively. Wait, first of all, cheers and welcome to the basement debates. My name is Bruce Lively.
And I'm D-Boy Slim.
And as usual, we come with the most ridiculous debate, hip hop debate that you're gonna see on YouTube. Period. Listen, first and foremost, at the end of this, we're gonna shout out 4 people who have been supporting us on Patreon. Everybody who joins the Patreon team, we shout you out live on the show. Go do that, man. Patreon.com/Team Box Cutter. We got them to shout out at the end. Don't let me forget. But first and foremost, we got to talk about this Jeezy versus Gucci.
Let's talk about it.
Magic City.
Wow.
Magic
Snowman.
City. The Snowman. So icy.
Let's
Was
talk
this
about it.
what we got a few questions. The main one is this is what's happening. Was this a great look? It could have been. It can be. Or was it an embarrassment? To Atlanta, to the people? I mean, it's people are wondering, well, what do you mean by that? Well, we're gonna get into it. We need to know what you think. It's live right now. You leave your comments, and we got super chats up if you want to support all of that good stuff. Let's get into it. I know you've been wanting to do this, D-Boy Slim. Holla at me. Was this a great look for Atlanta? Was this a great look for the rappers? Was it a great look for verses?
Listen, let me tell you something. And as somebody that's been in and around the city for some time and through the era of the young Jeezy, the Snowman, and Gucci before he was Guwap and as Guwap and 1017, So Icy and all of that, I think great look for Atlanta might be an understatement. Um, on so many different levels, it was big for the culture. It was I think it was one of those moments that transcended the culture. I think it was something that black culture needed to see from us, from our generation, and us being the leaders of it. Um, yeah, I like shouts to Swiss and Timbo for executing that. Everybody got it done. Everybody, for the most part, kept their composure. No one, physically got out of line. It
Do
was
me a
no.
favor. Explain to the people, because I already know this, and this is why when we ask the question, when this debate gets started, you'll see. Was it was it great Was it a great look or an embarrassment?
So
It really
so
comes
yeah,
down to, wait a minute, explain what that history is. When you say old school, talk about why this beef, why this versus,
okay,
why these two people matter so much to begin with.
okay. Let's run down the history real quick
You
for
good,
anybody
Marion?
that's been under a rock or hasn't followed these two particular artists or haven't not in tune with Atlanta's history. Um, there was a record that came out, which I think was both of their debut albums, or both of their debut songs, maybe, with Young Jeezy and Gucci, that is, and um, it was So Icy, which was a hit song. I'm not sure the numbers it did, but it was a hit song at the time. Long story short, they fell out because of the song. I'm not sure. Someone got royalties. I think it was on Gucci's album, and Jeezy might not have got his royalties. Something where and I'm not for sure about this, but this is what folktale and legend tells us. You know that's been around this situation or that's followed the situation. They fell out. Whatever. I'm guessing over the song or whatever, or who was getting paid what. Boom. So Jeezy comes out with a diss song. I think "We Come Strapped" was the name of the diss song, where he says blatantly, "I'm gonna put some money on your head and get your chain snatched." Well, funny thing, and this is why a lot of Atlanta people take pride in the gangster music and the whole culture that comes out of Atlanta, because unlike a lot of cities, or I can't speak for Compton, Chicago, New York, but I know for sure in Atlanta's a small town where if you say that about somebody, if you say that in the rap somebody, you damn well better be able to stand by it when it's in real life and when you on real time. So, long story short, not only does Jeezy, stay in the rap, I'll put the money on your head, but as folklore has it, and allegedly, I don't like incriminating anybody on any time, but as legend has it, there was a guy sent, and the guy's from Jeezy's neighborhood. The guy was a friend of Jeezy. This is where the Pookie Loc, that whole situation comes into play, because Pookie Loc was a friend of Jeezy indeed. So I guess you can put your own mathematics together and your own one plus one together and figure out how that guy ended up where Gucci was at. Nonetheless, Gucci killed the guy. And went to court about it, and it was deemed as self-defense. Boom. Fast forward, they both had. I would both say they both had stellar careers in their own right, and in their own right, they both had stellar careers. And I say that because they both took different paths, but and obviously Jeezy, if we're talking record sales, would have got the better of it, or you would say had the better career. But Gucci in his own right, I think was able to brand himself in a way, because of the authenticity that he spoke in his raps. Obviously, that situation, but all of what made him as far as getting money out the streets, whatever have you. So I say all that, not to long story short, they both had pretty good careers.
Well, what I'm getting at is the fact that these two have been at it in a way that's more personal than the average T.I. versus Busta.
So that in itself is what's different in this particular
battle. And they had
battle,
war, is what I'm getting at.
I'm not sure that we've seen where rappers that been at odds to that extent have ever, said, what, let's do a head up battle. Like, let's do a head up rap battle, even though you killed my friend. So, and even though you sent the guy at me to rob me or whatever, to do harm to me, let's have a rap battle. So that in itself is different. That's the part of it. Like I said, why I think that can shift the culture, because I think now we're not only saying you guys, and I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but we're not, in that sense in itself, you're not only saying dudes like King Von and Rondo, or Mo 3 and Trap Boy Freddy and Yellow Beezy down in Dallas, and Bootsy involved in it. We're not only saying to these kids, yeah, y'all need to stop with all the rap beef, but we're showing them by example that, yeah, sure, you might have killed, you might have even killed one of my friends, but it could still be, you can still respect each other. You can still coexist in the same room. You can still be competitive and go about your business, if that be rap or singing or playing ball, whatever that is, amicably or and still be cordial
Thanks
to one
to
another.
Jeezy.
You can still shake hands as grown men and say, you know what?
Thanks to Jeezy. Yeah, thanks to Jeezy,
you know what?
that happened.
Let's
right.
live another day. And like I said, if it
That's
was
what
him
I
that
wanna
set
get to.
initially, that facilitated that or orchestrated that, of course, yeah, Jeezy deserves that credit. So,
But not only that,
commend,
during the battle, the whole point was, you could tell. Go ahead, man. Because of Jeezy, it didn't go a certain way. It really could have.
Not to give Jeezy all the credit. I want to also commend Geechi for accepting the challenge, or accepting the battle versus, and saying, you know what, as a grown man, yeah, you sent somebody at me, but yeah, I stand in front of your face. As long as I'm allowed to do my disrespectful song towards you, so that all my fan base know that it's real with me, and everything that I was saying is authentic, then I have no problem. And I respect Geechi for that. And like I said, I commend him for accepting the battle. Nobody took a swing at each other. It was respectable. So respectfully, like I said, I commend Geechi for that too. So that's why in itself, like I said, that was a great look for Atlanta and beyond. And like I said, I think it's a moment in our culture that, could possibly, if nothing else, they say if you save one life, then you change the world. So if one of the young dudes that look at that, whether it be from Chicago, Atlanta, West Coast, or East Coast, look at that and say, you know what? Yeah, you might have killed my friend, or yeah, our hoods got beef, but you know what? I don't have a problem with you. Let's just live another day. We just seen Duck. We just seen Nipsey Hussle. Like, let's just live another day. And like I said, that in itself, I think is groundbreaking for the culture, for people to see that, knowing the history.
All right. Groundbreaking, absolutely not. That's been done many times before in hip hop and continues to be done. That was done. That was done when Ice Cube came back. That was done when Ice Cube came back with Dre. That was done with a lot of people, man. The people
but Ice Cube didn't kill none of Dre's friends, though.
Okay, so
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's one thing to have rap beef. It's one thing to say, yo, I dissed you on a song and I called your mom a bitch. It's a whole nother thing if I killed your friend, if I killed Oski. Like it's a whole nother thing. That's a whole nother thing.
So this is the deal.
If I killed Sam and you was able to shake my hand afterwards, and we perform a song together, that's groundbreaking. I've never seen that before in my life.
Okay, so I'm not going to say who got killed or who didn't in this is, because I don't have it at my fingertips right now. So say even that is correct. I'm going to be on the other side of this. Now, was it an embarrassment? Yes, it was an embarrassment for a rapper. It was an embarrassment for somebody, not for Atlanta. Was it a great look for Atlanta? No, it had the potential to be. It could have been. This is my main thing when I talk about was it a great look. Number one, you had the chance by having Stacey Adams in the beginning. And Stacey Adams in the beginning. Yeah, Stacey Abrams. Excuse me. Stacey Abrams in the beginning, and she was basically telling people to go vote. But more importantly, two things. That's what she did for the past 2 years in order to turn Georgia blue. That's a very big moment. I don't know if people.
Big.
I don't.
Again, another moment for us that made Atlanta look big and was big.
Now that could have been something so outstanding, just the acknowledgement of that by any of the rappers. But they didn't find. They was all in go mode. They was ready to go. You could tell the animosity was there, and they was ready to get this thing started. That's fine. There was another thing. After Stacey Abrams realized that it's not the place for that, like these people are not going to really, they're not going to back her up on it. But she said what she had to say. People heard it. She did her job. She came back with another story about her brother had gone to jail and this and that. And instead of, for me, instead of actually saying what that means to other people who, in the streets, i.e. the people who are rapping, it was kind of like, yeah, Jeezy had the best one. Yeah, well, you know what I'm saying? It's all love here. And Gucci starts out with, dope game easy, or dope game hard, rap game easy, without even saying nothing. Like, that was his first statement after such an eloquent statement by Stacey Abrams. Now, okay, fine. You may say that that's not that big a deal. To me, that negated that moment that could have been a great look. It turned into something, and I'm going to quote somebody else, and I'm reading from, you guys can probably see on screen, Lawrence Barney, okay, writing for the Vulture. And in a nutshell, he says, a cloud of purely bizarre vibes persisted throughout the entire thing, including the surprise introductions from Stacey Abrams. And the whole thing was bizarre because of how they treated that, and it started off that way. And it's not only they, it's really Gucci. Now we're going to talk about the embarrassing part. Atlanta shouldn't be embarrassed because every single city has an underground and an above ground musical market. Everybody knows that. Everybody's with that. But what happened was Atlanta got exposed. That underground market got exposed. What we think of as this trap music got exposed for how unprepared it is, how unprofessionally mixed and produced it is. Like, literally, one song to the next. One sounded like a radio hit. One sounded like something that was done. And in comparison, Gucci's stuff sounded like it was made in a basement somewhere without soundproofing on the wall. And I'm a Zaytoven fan because he can play. But what we realize is there's a lot that goes into making things pro and amateur. And your boy sounded amateur when you had to compare it to a multi-platinum artist. Talk about that. Tell me that I'm wrong there. Tell me that was an embarrassment for Gucci.
Well, you're dead wrong. You're dead wrong. I'm gonna tell you, as your partner, you have a disconnect, and I'm gonna tell you where the disconnect lies.
Okay.
The very sound that you're saying that's unprofessional or not sounding as polished, if you will.
Okay.
It is the very sound that Atlanta, if you're somebody that's inside of Atlanta, and I really mean inside of these Atlanta city blocks, that's the very sound that they fell in love with. So obviously you like there's a disconnect.
No, it's not.
In what you're thinking
I disagree.
His music should be, and what it is actually, and why people actually fell in love with it.
I disagree 100%. You want to know the sound that they fell in love with? That what happens is standards got lowered, but before you look at the producers, even producers like Lil Jon, you look at producers like the whole LaFace people who came out with the Outkast. You even look at T.I. These beats, this production, this sound, this Radio 1 sound, as you would call it.
Again, there's a disconnect.
We've allowed.
I promise you, bro. There's a disconnect with you and somebody that's born as a Grady baby, that's born and raised in Atlanta, and that really know the streets and the stories that he's telling about these streets. There's a disconnect. I
hear you on that, but see, you're not. So we can get to the story. We about to get there because number one, people, if you don't know, your boy Gucci came out with, I mean, straight up, just heat, street stuff. and you could tell where he was coming from. He basically said, I'm gonna stay gritty and you're gonna love it. I don't care what you play. I like his play on that. But what I'm just saying is, if you're telling me you couldn't hear that difference, we can talk about the substance of that. But the quality of the records, tell me that you didn't hear that difference.
Gucci sound,
and I'll give up.
To Jeezy sound. However, like I said, I think it's subjective if you say one is better than the other. It's, to me, it's sort of the contrast, as if, because a lot of Jeezy's early classics were predicated or were based upon Shorty Red, the producer, whom at the time he was an up and coming producer. Now you could argue all day that it sound like it was made in the basement. And you may be right when it comes to Zaytoven. This may have been a time when Zaytoven was actually making his music in his mom's basement or something.
Right. Well, I mean, it's
what I'm saying to you. Hold on. What I'm saying to you is that it's that sound, that whatever that is that you're saying, you might hear air in the beat. It may sound unpolished. It may sound not finished. Whatever that sound is the soundtrack to why that's the exact reason that people fell in love with Gucci's sound. I'm telling you. It's not because Gucci was the best lyricist of the year. It was the authenticity and what Gucci was saying, and the beat seemed to fit. The beat seemed to be tailor-made, which I think Zaytoven was doing at the time, tailor-making those beats just for Gucci's sound and style. And that's just what it is in a nutshell, bro. I'm telling you.
Yeah, so I think not only was that the case of an embarrassment, the other embarrassment was your boy Gucci has 0 platinum albums. He has the most mixtapes of anybody. Like, the dude had what I thought was like 12 and still going or something like that. I got it on here somewhere too. Like, he's got over a dozen, right? And was locked up for a few of those years. That's a lot. Gucci went like quadruple, quintuplet, like 5 times platinum on his first album. And I told you this before, if you remember, when we was talking about Jeezy versus T.I. Like, well, people sleep on Jeezy because they forget that his entire first album can probably smash almost anybody at any time whenever you pull it up, just because it was just that dope. Great classic. A definite classic. Anyway, but his progress, everything that you heard, the best you got from Gucci was Lemonade, or I Think I Like Her. Like, these, he had the Bruno Mars one, but it was so obviously not to the caliber. So,
well, here, let me just allow me to make the distinction in what we're talking about. One, I feel that Jeezy won the battle myself, and I feel like he won it for a few different reasons. But on the other hand, like you said, an embarrassment to Atlanta, or Gucci embarrassed Atlanta, he did not. So when you say that, I disagree with you there.
Okay.
I think what people wanted to see, the guwap,
so Gucci, wait, stop. Let me correct that. It's not that he embarrassed Atlanta. I said Atlanta is still the exact same afterwards. It really was not that much of an impact. But Gucci embarrassed himself. I think that it could have been a great look if they had just treated the Stacey Abrams things right, and if Gucci had something a little bit better to show. But it was just a one-sided match. Everything stays the same. Fine. So that's what I think about the great look. I mean, this is a regular look, but I think Gucci embarrassed himself. That's what I
believe that's what made it a compelling battle. If Gucci would have if Gucci would have came out there and sat in the chair and act all composed, like nothing bothered him, like everything was cool and Humphrey and Humphrey Bogart, like everything was hunky dory, then I don't think it would have been an interesting battle. But the fact that he came out there like, listen, man, you sent your mans out there and I killed your man. That's right, I killed your man. Now, is it right or wrong? Would I have done it? Maybe not. I believe in once somebody's dead, you just leave them that way and you say rest in peace.
That was
But,
another embarrassing part. Like,
but the
yo,
fact, like I said, this is what I'm saying is groundbreaking about the whole battle. The fact that you sent somebody at me, and in self-defense, I was forced to kill the man, to kill a man. Like that's what, like I said, we've never seen that televised before, where somebody's actually able to speak on that. He went to trial about it and beat the case because it was deemed self-defense. So we've never seen that type of energy televised, where the opposition is right in the man who sent the guy to do harm to you and you killed his man, they're right face to face. So I don't think there's no manual, there's no guidelines to that, because there's nothing to proceed. There's no prior to that. So what Geechi did, like I said, he put on a performance, he put on an entertainment, and Jeezy knew that he would talk about that. Jeezy knew that he would talk. And to Jeezy's credit, like I said, he did look like the bigger man, because he didn't to Geechi's antics, he didn't play into. And it didn't get violent too, or it didn't get too crazy. But for Geechi to do what he did, like I said, I understand it, I respect it, and to me, it made it a show. It made it a show. Like, if he came out there too cool for school, it would have been like, well, he don't really care that the guy sent them, or whatever the case, or yeah, they, but it did seem like, yeah, these guys, he just, you sent somebody at me and I killed your man. So,
all right, so
yeah, I'm Geechi. I'm going to talk about it. This is what I got millions for, talking about it.
Where this went to a bubble, where this went to a head, this kind of all culminated round 18. Geechi Mane played Truth, ended up having a little bit more to say, even after the song was already disrespectful.
Real disrespectful.
And just calling out this dude's name right across from him. And that's what a battle is, but Versus hasn't been that. So they kind of changed that. I hear you. Hey, Geechi, do your thing. But then your boy, like I said, you told me that, two people to come together and actually put that behind them and show the young kids how to do it. I don't think that would have been the case if it wasn't Jeezy on the other side who kept on pushing that away. Because I think Geechi came there with the full intent, always standing up, never sat down, ready for the war, as opposed to Jeezy, who came ready for the consolation prize. Like, we've been through it, now we can do this together. I don't think Geechi came in with that mindset or mentality at all, and it showed in the way he said it. When it culminated after Truth, and he kept talking, Jeezy had this nice little speech prepared, like, well, you know what? I'm glad we could do this and that. And he kept on talking over him, not even realizing, like, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the camera, fool. Like, I'm setting up my next song, bro. Like, Geechi was ready for it, but then his next song was Get Your Mind Right. Wait a minute, let me finish. Then his next song was Get Your Mind Right. And when he did that, it was so perfect to shut all the stuff Geechi was just saying down. Because of his overhypeness.
His playlist was crazy.
Crazy.
His song selection was crazy.
Embarrassing, bro.
Because like you said, for everything Geechi came with, it seemed like Jeezy had an answer, and it was all in his catalog.
All in his multi-platinum catalog.
I like the part when Jeezy, he went with the hood favorite, East Atlanta, that's my hood. Candler Road, that's my hood. And he tried to push Jeezy's button the whole night, right?
Yeah.
And Jeezy sat down, kept his composure. At the beginning of that song, he said, I don't know where his hood is at, but mine is right down the street, which in Magic City, he's right. East Atlanta is right down the street.
Yeah.
But what got me is right after that song, Jeezy said, the earth is my turf. So it's like whatever Geechi said, he had an answer for it. And
he had a grown man answer for it. That's
he
what
played
happened.
The song. He spin the song. The world is mine and everything in it. It's out here. Get on your grind and get it. Yeah. I said, you see what I'm saying? Like, he had an answer for every time you come with the nonsense. You come with the bull. Like, he had an answer for it. And like I said, I felt that Jeezy won the battle on too many different levels. When Geechi tried to say, "Oh, my jury in my outfit. Let's have a jury versus. He said, well, let's have a real estate versus. How about
Oh man,
have a real estate versus?
it was ugly. That's he should. He got embarrassed,
I
man.
said, wow,
He got embarrassed.
That's grown
Listen,
man talk.
I'm gonna
That's
tell you
grown
what,
man
man.
talk.
You know
right
what
there.
that is? You know what that is, bro? That is the local, the local hip hop guy who made an album and a couple people liked it and he got a little love off of it, playing in the territory with the multi-platinum superstar. It's exactly what it is. Yo, what happened? You just left me, my nigga?
No, I'm right here.
Like, oh.
My phone is dying. I'm here.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we're going to wrap it up anyway. That was what I want to talk about. I think we got a good debate. I think that embarrassed him, though. I think you got shown to be a little kid. And another part about that, let me, if I could, because this is hip-hop. It's a hip-hop show. Y'all tell me, can I? If I could, let me talk about how easily and quickly it showed what we've accepted as, you know, the dopeness, man. Like, I'm just saying, he's alright at best. Like, his music, he's alright at best. And we've lifted him up to the God care. This shouldn't have been this versus. I understand when you say Jeezy versus T.I., and I believe T.I. will win, hands down, wholeheartedly, easily. But it won't be like this. This was an embarrassment for your boy.
What I come to understand about Gucci is that the measurement that he's graded on is not the measurement that we grade him on.
Right. Okay.
So
I understand. He's hoodie street.
People's scales.
He belongs to those people.
Their measurement are different. The criteria that you're grading them on is not the criteria that everybody else.
I hear, so, and that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of
this.
And
once you understand that, like if somebody says to me, Killer Priest or U-God was the best in Wu-Tang, you would say, wow, you are bugging out. Like I had a conversation earlier with somebody, and this is where, like you said, hip-hop becomes subjective. But I had a conversation with somebody, and they say, you say, well, who's the best in the locks? And somebody says Styles P. And automatically you would think like, yo, you bugging. How could it not be Jada Kiss? How could it not be Kiss?
People
but
love
some people
Styles.
feel like it's Styles P. So I said all that to say, like, sometimes, you know, people like people for different reasons. And I can't be mad at that. Like you said, that's
I think that when you end up putting them back to back on the world stage, comparison-wise, though, I'm not denying that. I still, if you think I don't understand why Gucci is loved the way he's loved, the people who he talks to, I mean, I see those people every day. I see you every day. D-Boy Slim, like, I see D-Boys every day, bro, and I understand what that means. So I don't want to get that twisted. Thank you. I want y'all to know I don't want to get that misconstrued with what I'm saying. What I'm saying is
he's actually a good rapper to me.
Yeah, Gucci. Well, he's gotten better. He's improved.
Yeah,
he's gotten better. But the deal is, the problem is the verses itself, where you don't. The reason why you love that guy is not because you can compare him to Jeezy. Once you put the comparison to Jeezy, once you put him up against T.I., once you put him up against Jay-Z, once you put him up against Lupe, once you put him up against Kanye, once you put him up, you see what I'm saying? Like, once you love him not because he's that dope rapper, you love him because he's Gucci. You know what I'm saying? And when you actually compare him to someone else who actually is just a better music overall, all 5 albums from then till now, you realize that it's not really up there. You should have not even taken you got embarrassed, is what I'm saying. Not that he can't rap, not that he hasn't gotten better, I agree. Not that he isn't in tune with the streets that he was rapping for. That's what's up. I think when you try to compare yourself to someone who's actually professional and better,
well,
I know, I'm sorry, but it's professional, man.
I agree with you there. I agree with you there. Like I said, I think he does what Jeezy does. I do happen to think that Jeezy does it better. Point blank, period. I do happen to think that Jeezy does it better. So we're saying the same thing. But like I said, I respect Gucci and I respect Guwap. But
All right,
yeah,
well,
I think they rap the same trap music, but Gucci does it a little better.
all right,
And has done it a little better.
I think we can agree on those points, but as far as who wins this debate, we need you guys to let us know. I mean, was it an embarrassment, or was it just a showcase of something different, and you got to be into it to understand it? I don't know. I think that the beginning could have been handled better by both rappers, but especially by Gucci. Showed his mentality for the whole night. Getting swept like that. I mean, after, Get Your Mind Right, Put It On featuring Kanye, Seen It All, Thug Motivation, Soul Survivor, Jeezy, Welcome Back. Like
Gucci had a couple rounds.
It turned into a slaughter.
I don't say he got swept. He had a couple of rounds.
But it's up to you guys. Who wins this debate? Which one was
but
it?
I felt Snowman was better.
And then if you disagree with who we both think won, tell us that too. That's what it is. Listen, smash the like button, subscribe. You just got done watching the Basement Debates, man, live at Bruce Live.
What we think about the Goodz in the Geechi?
Now this is the next course of business. Real quick, Goodz versus Geechi. This is another one that got me hyped. Another one that got me hyped because I love seeing the young belt holders, title holders, ground shakers.
Smack has been put.
Right.
Smack is cooking.
Go up against the Goodz, who we all know doesn't really have as many raps, doesn't really have as many battles, doesn't really come out.
Have as many losses.
Because it's not as many battles. But he's revered. So I love to see the up and coming come up against the revered, and so it works on both levels. It works that you can't say that about Goodz anymore because he's had like 3 this year, believe it or not, on the couple underground type, or maybe that was last year. But either way, that's more than he's ever had. And then you gotta love it for Gooch. I mean, you gotta love it for Geechi. Like, he's gonna have the chance, like he did against Surf, he lost, to maybe prove himself again. I can't wait for it. Listen, y'all, December, I think is what? December 12th? Something like that? What do you think, bro?
I think Mike Tyson is gonna put Roy Jones to sleep, and I think Goodz is gonna put Geechi to sleep.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's gonna rock him to sleep. I give it a 2-1. Goodz is simply, to tell you the truth about it, and I've been saying this for a while now, Goodz is the best in the game. I think
not until he beats Arsenal.
What he does with as far as branding himself and not oversaturating himself inside of the market and being selective with his battles, I think is genius, strategic. He's getting to his money. But when he does battle, I think his performances are second to none. I think I don't think there's too many people touching him. And this should be a one, for the ages. I think Geechi will, swing and so to speak, and put on good performance. But I know that Goodz, when you give them time to prepare properly, and it should be.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go against Goodz on Goodz versus Geechi. I am gonna say that I would like to see Geechi stand his ground, stay with what he does best, which is do the gang raps, but find a way around it like he did with Clips. When he saw that he needed to do something different or move around a little bit, he did it. He went in freestyle. He went up to the steps and started talking about Homeboy on the steps and said, I can do the freestyle too, and then came back. But he always stays grounded with the gang stuff. You don't have to leave that to beat Goodz. You just have to know how to use that as a platform for some crazy stuff to be. It's got to be crazy. So I'm not going to choose him, but I would like to see that happen. I'm not going to lie.
I think it's going to be epic. I think it's going to be one of those performances where Goodz uses the whole gang, that whole facade. And
we've seen him use that too again. He's
against
good at flipping.
right, yeah. I could see Goodz just using that whole stuff in his scheme against them, and it's embarrassing. So then when you come with yours, it seems weak and
Right,
meager.
right.
Like I could see that happening.
Clips tried that though, and he still dug out of it and won. Still dug out of it and won. But I'll tell you what, y'all, we're actually doing that. We're gonna have a live show right after the debate. We got the live debate. We're gonna put it on Patreon. That's why you gotta go to patreon.com/teamboxcutter. See all the live URL battles, things that you just can't get anywhere else. Just go check it out. I promise you will not be mad at it. But we're gonna come live with another live basement debates right after that. After we watch it, we're gonna come live straight here. So whatever that day is, if it's December 12th, 21st, I can't remember exactly. Maybe I'm getting dyslexic or something, but you guys know when it is, and we'll be back again before that to let you know. We're coming live right here. We appreciate y'all for being a part of this, man.
The basement.
Peace.